Welcome back, Achron fans, to the quarterfinals, the Temporal Anomalies Season 1 tournament. Today we're going to be having Alfie versus Numbers, or Alfie275 versus Numbers. And if you heard earlier, we were describing the pregame and how both players play, how they, or at least how Alfie says he plays. And it should be very exciting. Like I said before, Alfie apparently is a very cheesy player, while Numbers is a much more solid player, much more defensive player. He's really good at UPP defense. I've seen him play before. He's very surprisingly skilled when he was just starting, too. And, of course, he's had more experience now, so he should be a lot better. And Alfie, on the other hand, I have not seen him play, and so I don't know what exactly his playstyle is like, but I do know that his playstyle is particularly cheesy according to his own description. So apparently he likes to play around with resource crates and steal them and all that stuff that a lot of people have seen, but not a lot of people do. It's an interesting little idea. But anyway, we're going to be starting the game very shortly, and we will be just getting the game up. So right now we have, this is going to be a live match between Alfie and Numbers. The Haiku versus Elliot match before was a replay. I will not give that exactly away right now, but it was a very exciting set of matches. And that was something worth watching. And if you weren't here before, then stick around. There'll be more matches coming up after this. So the match is loaded, and we're playing on hills between Alfie, which has not decided his race yet, in the top right corner, and Numbers in the bottom left corner, who has also not decided his race, but he will likely be deciding very shortly. So both players are going to be starting up their actual construction very shortly. Both players have... There we go. Numbers has started building Vecgir, and Alfie has gone for Grekim. So another Vecgir versus Grekim, and Numbers is actually going to be building up. Looks like he's attacking rather quickly. He did that last time against, if I recall correctly, when he was fighting up against Gur. Yeah, he attacked. There he is. He has some infantry going towards Alfie directly. I don't know if he's going to be doing any real serious damage. Numbers does have a Zymbir in his base. He is building up regular RPs. And Alfie is also building up his base. He does have his RPs coming up as normal, and his Arcticus actually isn't being sent off to the front. So apparently Alfie hasn't been playing a lot recently. It's very common for Grekim players to put their Arcticus at the front of their base so that units attack moving into the base will attack the Arcticus, and then the Arcticus will tank for everything else. And Numbers is, of course, attacking with some units who will need to be tanked, but it looks like they are going to be attacking unimpeded. So the forces of Elliot... Actually, Numbers has actually gone back around to see if Alfie has gone to his backdoor naturals to make sure he hasn't started taking resources there, too. And it'll be hard to tell right now because Blue Time Wave is actually the thing carrying Alfie's orders, and it looks like Alfie has not decided to expand to his natural. And Numbers is expanding to his front door natural. And also, apparently, is trying to see if Alfie's expanded to his front door natural, which he is not. So Alfie is staying very much inside his main base, not going to either of his naturals, and not really building up a lot of units. He has an Octo Sapphifaro. I don't think the Octo is progenning, but the other two are. And Numbers at his point in time has not seen Alfie build anything there, and Alfie at his own point in time has not actually built anything. So Numbers is coming in with a Zymbir, I believe, attacking the Octo, which will be torn apart very quickly, but the Octo will be distracted from the main base and is not progenning, so that answers that question. And at the same time, Numbers is also building his natural expansion, his front door natural, getting about 11 LC crates. I don't think he has more than the 2 QP crates in his main base. But still, 11 LC and 2 QP for Vecgir, that's very healthy. Numbers, on the other hand, has 6 LC and 1 QP. Another QP is coming up very quickly, and this is about half a minute down from when Numbers was focused. So Numbers actually has started focusing at that time, and a Reef is coming up very quickly. So Alfie is a bit more focused now on getting a Reef up very quickly, getting fast tech. This has been an older strategy set, getting very fast tech and not a whole lot of resources. But given the amount of changes to Grekim recently, it may actually pay off because Grekim did get a lot of changes to their early build. They can't rush as easily as it could before, so making an econ-focused rush build probably won't work as well as it used to. So not necessarily a bad idea, but we'll see how it pans out. Numbers has built the depot rather quickly, not especially quickly, but still somewhat quickly. Also auto defense, just in case Alfie does go for a rush attack, which he doesn't seem to be particularly keen on doing. So Alfie focusing on very early tech, probably trying to get very early chronoporting or very early low legal class so he can build some gargantuans and do his whole crate stealing thing. He is actually focused rather on the pass, though. He hasn't really decided to fast forward yet. He's actually, I think he's playing at normal speed. I wasn't sure if he was slowing down or not. and he is really focused on just making this precise, but he hasn't gotten advanced structures yet. He is researching advanced structures, but has not been completed yet. It will be on the red time wave, and Numbers is actually, well, Numbers in his own time has actually built a foundation inside of Alfie's base that has auto defense on it too, so it will be able to attack it on its own. And another foundation coming up as well, so Numbers is, oh, and Bastion from that foundation, so Numbers is completely sieging up Alfie. Now, of course, this is far in the future, so it won't be that big of a deal, but still, Numbers is doing a lot to siege up Alfie, and Alfie's going to have to deal with this. He has plenty of meta time in which to do so, but he is going to have to take this and actually deal with it, because right now, and Zion Pulsars as well, I'm pretty sure those guys have teleport, since they just seem to have appeared, and that will be very powerful, so Alfie's going to have to deal with this, and there's a lot to deal with in the future. Pharaoh has come up to try to start attacking the Foundation. Aspire has actually come up as well, so advanced structures, like I said before, was being researched on the red time wave, and it has come up, so some Pharopods would be very nice for Alfie, but he doesn't have the resources when he is. He has resources when Numbers is, but not when he is. And Numbers has actually taken his backdoor expansion as well, somewhat. He's taken 2 of the LC crates in the backdoor expansion at Alfie's time. At his own time, Numbers may have taken quite a bit more. But Alfie is building up Octopods. He has some Pharaohs. He has quite a few defenses set up. And yes, those Zion Pulsars do have teleports, as I thought, and they are dealing a lot of damage. Of course, this is farther in the future. Alfie has probably set up his defenses to counter this, to help counter this. But still, 3 Zion Pulsars, that's a lot of damage. Unless Pharopods are in the cards, that's not going to be working very well for Alfie right now. Octopods are fairly powerful, but Zion Pulsars are still quite powerful. They can teleport away from the Octopod. It will be able to still damage them at range, but it's a risky strategy. I don't know how well it's going to work, but we shall find out very shortly when this blue time wave passes along, and it looks like an aerial control center as well is coming up for Numbers. So Numbers is building up his tech as normal, while Alfie is stagnating a little bit. He's been attacked very heavily, being sieged very heavily. The Octopod has been built, but it looks like even on the blue time wave, there is nothing really working out for Alfie right now. Numbers is doing a very good job of attacking very effectively. And yes, even after the blue time wave comes along, the Octopod does some damage. More Zion Pulsars coming in and dealing more damage, completely obliterating Alfie's base very rapidly. Alfie still has plenty of time to respond, but he needs to build some Pharopods. He needs to get mostly Pharopods. That's really the best thing he can go for right now, because Zion Pulsars cannot hit air. Zion Pulsars are going to be completely incapable of dealing with them. However, they could still damage the base very heavily. Honestly, I think the best thing that Alfie could do, other than try to get Pharopods, is leave. Just escape. Get out of there. He's putting an Octopod next to the Foundation, which should help, but I don't know how big of a difference it's going to make. Another Foundation is being built, and it looks like Numbers actually has lost the Shinvir, so that will help on the attack. The attack won't be quite as powerful. So Alfie's little micro getting around the Foundation is still a good idea, but I don't know how effective it'll be, given that the Zion Pulsars are still Zion Pulsars, after all. Still very powerful units. Probably still going to teleport in, and Numbers doesn't seem to have gone back and actually changed his strategy very much. So Numbers is still dealing a lot of damage. The red time wave is going to be the real truth teller right now, because a Pharopod is coming up. Yes, there we go. Alfie has built a Pharopod, and that will be very helpful, because like I said, against Zion Pulsars, it is impossible to beat. Zion Pulsars can't hit air, so the Pharopod will be a very good strategy for Alfie, as I mentioned several times before, and he has gone for it. Very well done. He does need to make sure he does have good defenses, though, set up for his Triad. An independent Triad would not hurt right now. Getting a Seppi and a Pharaoh, just escaping with them. And a Comm Hub has been built. Oh, wow, nicely done, Numbers. Comm Hub has actually been built behind Alfie's base. Nicely spotted there, Meryl. And that will be dealing a lot of damage, or not dealing a lot of damage, but definitely helping with the Zion Pulsars. That's helping them spot, because Comm Hubs have a huge sight range, and of course, Zion Pulsars, being artillery, have a larger sight range than they have. Sorry, a larger attack range than they have a sight range. However, the Pharopod, as I mentioned before, is doing a very good job of defending against this. Octos and Octopods coming up to help prep defense, and Alfie is doing what he can to prepare. I think it will actually be enough with the Pharopod. It looks like the Zion Pulsars were damaged quite heavily. When Numbers is focused, yeah, the Zion Pulsars have all been destroyed. That Pharopod did a very good job for itself. So the Pharopod's actually going out to attack. Alfie's actually moving it away, oddly enough. I'm not sure what he's trying to do. That would move it out of position. He really does need a Pharopod at the base to defend. And yeah, the Pharopod out of position is actually not going to be able to help out defend. The Zion Pulsars are doing a lot of damage. However, they aren't being teleported enough to get away from the Octos. They really need to be microed a bit better, but Numbers isn't too focused on that. I'm sure he's probably more focused on getting the future Zion Pulsars in. The Pharopod, like I said, was out of position. That was very dangerous. Allowed those Octos to get killed, but the Pharopod has been moved back a bit faster this time around, and that will be able to get... No, but the Zion Pulsars have actually teleported behind the base. So Zion Pulsars actually teleported across the other side of the Triad, and that will be a lot more effective, although Numbers does need to undo those teleports later on. But that will be a lot more effective in harassment and it's doing a lot of damage, getting around. More design pulses coming in. Those are the design pulses we saw before. An aerial control center coming up, and of course the comm hub helping to spot. But design pulsers have been killed. The Firepod killing one of them, and the Octos Octopod killing the other, and that will be very effective. However, Numbers further in the future is still dealing damage from his point of view. But Alfie has the last word right now, and that last word is going in Alfie's favor. So very well done to Alfie for defending against that rush. Numbers right now is trying to send more Design Pulsers in. Design Pulsers he had actually sent before, but I don't know how effective that's going to be, given that he had 5 Design Pulsers the last time, and this time he only has 2. So that will not go over too well. However, the Firepod that we did see does seem to be out of position right now. And no, it's not. It's right in position. It's just hard to tell because of the health bars. But yes, the Firepod is completely in position, is destroying the Design Pulsers handily. I think one Octo may die if it's unlucky, and no, it's going to live just fine. So Alfie has managed to defend against this quite well. Numbers, very interesting little rush strategy. One I've used myself, but it's not quite as effective as he would have liked. Still, well done for that first attack, and still, a comm hub in the back is just cute. I mean, that's a really nice spotter. I don't know how effective it's going to be in the future, being that Design Pulsers could come at any time, but this is kind of past the time for a big Design Pulsar rush that we just saw. So Numbers just reviewing his attack, making sure he knows what's going on in Alfie's base, and now jumping towards the future, about 2 minutes up from when we are focused on Alfie, and actually jumping back considerably to just double-check. Getting Shin Turchers, a very good idea, because Shin Turchers are a very powerful detector, and they and Shin Veers are the only detectors for Vecgir and Foundations and Bastions, but they're only mobile detectors. And since Firepods are bomber units, they're a lot harder to hit. And here we have low Lego class. I was waiting for this. So it looks like Alfie is actually getting low Lego class, is building a Seppi Lego, and will likely be using that to get a Gargantuan. From there, he'll be able to steal the resource crates and undermine Numbers' economy. However, I'm not sure how effective it's going to be. Numbers has expanded across at least half the map right now, and he's getting Foundation in the north side and getting a comm hub too. So, or I think it's a comm hub. Very likely, I don't know what else he'd be building right there. So, and looks like Numbers is jumping back just to make sure his attack is going still well, or attack went as poorly as it went before. And I'm not sure where the Seppi Lego is, but it should be coming up very quickly. There it is. It's right south of the Firepod, and so that's going to be very powerful. That Seppi Lego, like I said, if it becomes a Gargantuan, it will be able to at least give Alfie some resources, but I don't know how powerful it's going to be ultimately, because the Seppi Lego on its own, honestly, would probably be a better choice, because that Seppi Lego, that's a really powerful unit. It's a good fighter-bomber unit. It'd be able to get rid of the Shin Turchers. It'd be able to get rid of the Design Pulsers. Really, a couple of those on their own would just do fine, really, when it comes to trying to defend against this. I don't see the reason to go for Gargantuans. But Alfie did mention that he loves going for Gargantuans to steal resource crates. I don't see that being super effective, but I could see it being somewhat effective. Numbers does have a lot of money in the bank, but he's getting chronoporting. He will need QP for his actual chronoports, but it's going to take a lot of Gargantuan passes, probably about 4 or 5 Gargantuan passes to actually steal all of his resource crates. And even if it just goes for QP, there's still 2 Gargantuan passes. There's still a lot of warning. But that Seppi Lego hasn't done much. Actually, it's in the base now. It will be able to help defend, and like I said, this is what the Seppi Lego should be doing. It should not be turning into a Gargantuan. There really isn't much reason for it to do so. It really needs to keep as a Seppi Lego, and from there be able to defend. Lego, like I said, is going to deal a lot of damage. Like as you can see, it's getting rid of that Shin Turcher very handily. The second Shin Turcher is also taking a lot of damage. The Seppi Pod as well to help support, and the ground units coming in from before are being damaged as well. So the Seppi Lego, like I said, very powerful against both ground and air. More against air, but still at least as powerful as the Firepod against ground, I think, if I recall correctly. So, very powerful unit. The only real thing that Firepod has over it is cloaking. And, of course, it's lower cost. But, still, that's a very powerful unit. And it looks like the Seppi Lego has been chronoported back to help itself out to defend. So, this is what Alfie should be doing. Very well done for Alfie. So, he is going for the right strategy rather than the cheesy one. So, 2 Seppi Legos, well, the same Seppi Lego twice is coming in, dealing a lot of damage. Further back, it looks like there's more in the unplayable past that Numbers has to deal with this. The Shin Turchers will not be doing very much damage, dealing with one of the Octopods, but not being able to deal with the other. And the Seppi Lego will be... Wait, Seppi Lego no, Seppi Lego is still alive, has been chronoported back, and that's the second Seppi Lego, the post-chronoported Seppi Lego we see now. So, nice little chronoport for support. Slipgate, however, has been built for Numbers, and Numbers is likely to be sending these units back as well. So both players are going to start doing a lot of chronoport harassment right now. Kind of the mid-game, like mid to late game strategy, of course, is very chronoport heavy. Even with the chronoport changes where now all chronoports have a different cost per unit, it's still often worth it to do so. And here we have a bunch of units coming in for Numbers about 2 minutes up, and I don't know if they're being chronoported back or not. I seriously doubt it, given that they're being attacked, but that may be an echo attack. Numbers may have just done that to harass, to deal some damage, to scare Alfie in the future, and then will be attacking more seriously towards the past. But the Shin Pulse that was there before has not done much. Tepi Ligo is dealing a lot of damage to it. Gotten rid of it, so it's going to be... Well, from Numbers' point of view, it's going to be a very powerful attack, but Alfie hasn't seen that attack come yet. I don't think those units have actually been built when we are. I think they're being built about 2 minutes down from when Numbers is, and Alfie, of course, is about 2.5 minutes down, which means that Alfie's going to have to deal with this, and that'll be kind of tricky. But Alfie does have a lot of time to build a defense. He has a lot of resources. Numbers, however, has tons of resources. He has plenty of LC, plenty of QP. Alfie still has a lot, but Numbers could actually do with a second depot right now. I mean, he has 2 bases, 2 full foundation bases. He could do with a second depot, a second flipgate even, and start building up there. And these are the units that we saw attacking before. They will be attacking probably in about 2 minutes. As foundations to the north have not been used for anything, and they really should be, because that would allow him to get more depots, more foundations. That would allow him to be able to build more. He has plenty of CE when he is right now. He would be able to go back and build more down here as well if he had done that in the first place. But he isn't doing that. He has tons of resources. He could easily get 3 or 4 depots and just stack them. But he's not doing that for some strange reason. So anyway, what he is doing, however, is teleporting his units into the field and getting them to attack, or should be getting to attack. I don't know why they're standing there because he hasn't attacked them yet. There we go. Now he's getting to attack, and that attack will be quite powerful. The Tepi Ligo appears to be out of position entirely and has not been joining the fight yet. There is, however, a Octopod and Farpod Progen defense. Actually, Semipod is also in there, and an Octopod to defend that's not progenning, but that will not be doing too much damage because of all the area units coming in. Octopods aren't grading its area units, and it's a very powerful attack. However, Numbers is also apparently chronoported something to the past to help out, but it's hard to tell. It looks like there's a giant, probably a Shin Halcyon or something, that has been chronoported back to help out. We'll see probably on the green, if not red, time wave what has gone on there, but it looks like Numbers has chronoported back something very powerful, and that will be helping to turn the battle, although I think Alfie really is just trying to fight against a waterfall, really. Numbers is doing a lot of damage, has a ton of resources. Neither player is really using all the resources they have, even when you consider the chrono energy costs, and it looks like, a couple Tet Turtures have been chronoported back as well to help out against the air battle, though that's not the most effective battle at the moment. A Shin Turture has also been chronoported back, and those Tet Turtures and Shin Turtures need to get back home if they want to make sure that chronoport is not an echo chronoport when they chronoport. So those attacks, this attack may be a bit of an echo attack because the Shin Turture and Tet Turture are not at home to help chronoport, so they may not be able to reinforce themselves. However, Alfie, regardless, will probably still be losing his entire base, so I don't see this going well at all for Alfie, and this seems to be Numbers' game. Alfie doesn't seem to have anything chronoported back or chronoporting back. We'll find out in the red time wave, though. That's really the moment of truth. But Alfie, focusing on this point in time, has not been moving around much. Numbers, however, is building more forces, has focused on the future a bit more, likely to build more forces and send them back. And he still hasn't really built up those foundations. So Numbers does not have any weakness at this point that Alfie can exploit. Alfie is basically just RPs and doesn't really have anything. So at this point, we're just waiting for Alfie to GG, and once that happens, we'll be going on to Game 2, and it'll be Alfie's map choice. We'll see what he goes for, and whether or not Numbers actually allows this. However, Hills, like I said before, Numbers really likes the map, has been practicing on it a lot, and it's a very effective map, so I'm not surprised to see this outcome, and well done to Numbers. So Alfie seems to be just trying to let this sink in, and probably thinking of what he can do for Game 2. And once that happens, then it will be... Oh, never mind. It looks like Alfie actually disconnected. He didn't actually die. He in fact disconnected. I apologize. I didn't realize that actually happened. So yeah, this kind of explains why this is happening. Because... Okay, I apologize. There was apparently a disconnect from Alfie's side. It was hard to notice. But yeah, apparently Alfie disconnected. Something happened with his router. So anyway, that was Game 1. I mean, admittedly, Alfie was still kind of falling apart at that point. But that is Game 1. So well done to Numbers. But that's unfortunately an unfortunate way for the game to go. I apologize for that. I really didn't realize that it was a disconnect issue. So, sorry about that. I probably should have realized that sooner, but it's kind of hard to tell. Like I said, I'm not actually in the game right now. I'm actually casting off the stream, which makes it a bit tricky to do. So, I apologize for that. I didn't mean to have that. But we will have Game 2, and that should work out a lot better. So, just get that set up. And I apologize, like I said. So we are going on to Game 2 very quickly. I don't know what map Alfie wants, but once we figure that out, we will be getting the game going rather quickly. And Game 2 should be a lot better than Game 1, although still, like I said, Alfie, while he did a decent job defending, was not in the best spot for attacking, so he wasn't really going to be in a great spot for dealing with numbers, regardless of the disconnect. So, well done to numbers regardless of the fact that there was a disconnect, but we will have Game 2, and hopefully that will work out a lot better with no disconnects or anything happening, and we will have a complete game, and that will be coming in briefly. And there's a lot of comments about chat about my use of the word very frequently, and I've been suggested to use things like shortly or briefly or fast as. No, I'm not going to say it. This is a PG-13 stream, so I'm not going to say any major swear words. But that was one of the suggestions. I'm sure you can imagine what was said, and we're just waiting for Alfie to figure out what map he wants to go for. Once we get that set up, then just get some nice little smooth jazz going or fast rock. I don't know what.